Unleashing Your Inner Power with Dr. Anand. Today's topic is shortcuts. Shortcuts, for instance, are motivational speakers, people who will convince you, though they have never achieved, but they will convince you on how to go about things. Now, if I had read 1,000 books but never done an operation, would you come to me? No. If I'm a doctor or a surgeon, would you come to ask me how to build a house? No. Same with motivational speakers. They can get you all hyped up. Just like you watch a Hindi movie or you watch a Shakespeare and you feel very romantic because you paid the money, and after 15 minutes, you go back to your normal. So a motivational speaker is like a seasonal thing. It's a time-bound thing. So do not go for shortcuts, but listen to me. I may be able to help your life because I'm telling you from my own personal experience. I'm not talking out of books. I haven't got any crib sheet to tell you. I tell you from my heart what it is to be successful, to be calm, to be cool, to be collected, and to be earning money in a very positive way. I'll give you examples of shortcuts, my own shortcuts. When I came to this country, I used to go at 35 miles an hour, 36 miles an hour. Well, it's 2 in the morning. I'm returning from London and the cameras are there. I didn't realize, and they caught me. And I thought, well, it's 2 in the morning. There's no other cars, but you must follow laws. Just like we say, when you are in this country, when you're abroad particularly, you should follow the rules. Left side of the road, 30 miles an hour. When it says 20, you go 20. When I was learning the motorbike, all right, I used to come into town from 70 miles, having put on the clutch at 0 to see I sailed through. And my trainer would go mad. He would say, why are you doing this? I said, I was saving petrol. He said, don't save petrol. You cross the 30 miles, go to 30 miles, drop, brake, slow down. So in this country or abroad, not in the subcontinent that we come from, people tend to follow the rules. Long term, it works. There are many ways of cutting shortcut, like people don't take insurance. They underinsure, whether it's their car or their house. I've even seen people whose faces resemble and they're running their car on somebody else's license. I've seen people who do all kinds of little petty thefts. Like, I've got a crick in my neck, doctor, can you write me up for cervical injury so I can get some money? I get people who want a sick note for just amazing things that don't matter. And I find it very difficult giving a sick note, for instance. So people always want to cut corners. If there is a road and you're meant to go like that, please go like that. Don't cut across the grass. Don't put your car over the pavement. Simple little things. It takes a little time to actually accept that you're in a country where rules matter. It does matter in this country that you take the proper insurance, that you pay the proper rent, that you take a wage on paper, not under the table, because I've told you many examples of people who just get paid under the table and then they can't get a mortgage. There is no shortcut to success. There is no shortcut to happiness. There's no shortcut to creativity. If you want to have a healthy, happy, creative life, whether it's financial, emotional, social, spiritual, there's a pathway that's long. They say art is long, life is short. So if you want to do arts, you have to do in a way that makes you part of it. If you want to be the best in football, you have to practice. If you want to be the best surgeon, you have to practice. Any field, there is nothing called a shortcut. Shortcut means it's a pathway to hell. It's a slippery slope to go down the garden path into an abyss. Shortcuts will never work. And we who come from South Asia are used to shortcuts for many reasons. There's poverty, the roads are uneven. I'll tell you another example of shortcut and how many people it kills. When trucks are going on the outer side of the three-way lanes and suddenly make a turn, you might be behind them and you might hit them. I've seen several cases of this. And these are all shortcuts that we are used to. We are used to just cutting across the red light. We are used to not paying enough for insurance. And these things work up for a time, and then after a while, you will be in trouble. So shortcuts are dangerous, shortcuts are not helpful, and shortcuts will really kill your life and your family and your wealth. Avoid shortcuts. So let me tell you some of the disadvantages of shortcuts. Well, I've already said to you, if you're taking shortcuts, one day you fall foul. They say easy come, easy go. So the money will be spent in a bad way because you've earned it in an immoral way, unethical, illegal way. The other disadvantage is your children watch you do this. When your dad is home and he says, tell them I'm not home, you learn to tell lies. You're actually teaching your children to tell lies. You're forcing your children to tell lies. Also, they watch you earn the money in a hush-hush way. And you're sending the child out of the room while you're doing this. So the child knows there's something hanky-panky. But remember the famous phrase, monkey see, monkey do. You can lecture your child as much as you like on morality, legality, but if you behave in a bad way, they will just copy you. And they have much more of a life and a future and much more adaptability they can do. You came here preformed from the Asian subcontinent, okay? That's fine. So you had some adjustment to do, but you had limited time. Your child has a whole lifetime. So you should be allowing your child to become part of this society, to take adventure into this society, to do new things in this society, to just be another member of a nice civilized society. But if you carry on your blinkered way, like horses have blinkers, in your blinkered way, your child will copy you and remain in the same bubble, in the same narrow ghetto that you came from, and you'll keep your child unconnected with the greater mass of the society. And if this society has rejected you, you will feel that every moment. Nobody will smile at you. Nobody will stop at their gate and say good morning to you. And you will feel that all the time. So money isn't everything. And money got by shortcuts goes out by shortcuts. So as I was saying before, I've seen people fall foul of insurance, of not paying their friends, of lying to them, of promising a larger amount and paying less, of paying under the table. The person who's taking it needs a job. So if they are compromised morally, I can understand that. But you are in a powerful position as a businessman, as an employer, so you should not take shortcuts. You have greater power, so you have a greater power to do good. Because the person who comes for a job, he's hungry, he needs the stuff. So his behavior towards shortcut can be forgiven to some extent, but yours is unforgivable. So please don't underpay. There's a minimum wage here, and try to be kind to people. They'll stick with you long term. There have been lots of studies on employment, and they found that the employer who gives more than what the law asks for, gives them holidays, gives them extra time, just a little bit, recognizes them, gives them a bunch of flowers, gives them chocolates, the best employee of the year, and that kind of thing. It's called skilled people, and it's called working for people. If you do that, your employees will stay there longer. Women in particular are more bothered if you have given them a creche for their babies. At least you make that available. Whether they use it or not is their business. But if you constantly are trying to pinch every penny, every copper, every tiny amount, because that habit has come into you from coming from South Asia, and you bring it here, your children will carry on. And like I say, your children themselves will become outcasts from this society. They go to school and class here, so it's so much easier for them to adjust. But you might be the person spoiling the future, and that's terrible. Remember, it's for you and your children. If you take shortcuts, your children will, and you're filling the wrong software in their heads, saying software is okay, cheating is okay, under insurance is okay, stealing from other people is okay. No, it's not. Because most of society doesn't do it, and you as a group do it, you'll stick out like a sore thumb, and you'll be much maligned. And then, as I said before, your name will be in the paper, nobody will want to talk to you, and one day you might even land up in jail. So I keep saying, do not take shortcuts, follow the law. It's really quite simple. Just get used to the law and follow it, and long term you'll be happier. Initially you'll mind, oh, they're taking taxes. Yes, but when you apply for a mortgage, you get a bigger mortgage. So I say again and again, do not take shortcuts. It doesn't work. You came here for the basic need, money, for food, shelter, clothing, isn't it? Roti, kapda, makan, they call it. Now, that's what you came for. But suddenly, if your eyes were open and your ears were open and your mind was open, you'd realize there's much more to life here. Beyond the basic needs that the government provides. Even if you're unemployed, you get enough. You'll get the heating, you'll get your children's food, you'll get their schooling and everything. But that's not all. You should get joy out of it. You should be able to serve the community. You should be remembered as someone who did something for society. And I find a lot of our people just carry on with their food, clothing and building. Food, clothing, building. Bigger cars, but smaller drivers. Bigger houses, but less happiness. And so I again and again impeach you to try and look at what your needs are. If you look at Maslow, he talked about survival needs, then power needs, then compassion needs, and self-fulfillment. The actualization of a human being only happens when your heart, your soul, and your society are all connected and you're working for the fulfillment of society, not just of your inner materialistic greed. We come from South Asia where people are quite generous. Our societies are generous. We come here where the government has set down rules, so you don't need to be generous or need other people's charity. I understand that. But it is nicer if people are good to you automatically, not because of your right to be given all these three things. So I impeach you again to say again and again and again, please don't go for shortcuts, but look at the bigger picture and your children's future. So let me tell you from my experiences how not taking shortcuts has helped. I've been here 47 years. Most of the time I either trained to be a doctor or I was a general practitioner in the family community living with people. So my house and my clinic were in the same building and I met people all the time. And that has made me realize and look at the differences between people who come from the Asian subcontinent and people who are here. There are many differences. The ones that have adjusted to the life here are better off, live in better areas, the children therefore go to better schools, and they're a level above the ordinary people who came and settled in the first house they could find and are stuck there. So it is important by not taking shortcuts because people are watching you. People are watching everyone. But if you are from another country, wear slightly different clothes, skin is different, people will watch you more. It's obvious. Like when I was a hospital doctor, I had to be extra better to be noticed. I had to do everything 25%, 50%, 100% better. And I did. And that is life. You have to prove yourself when you're in a new city, in a new country, in a new state, in a new continent. That is where life works. So I have noticed that the more I adjust to people here, the more they give back. The more I'm well known, the easier work happens. Money goes much further. And I've noticed you don't need money for many things. It's who you know, not what you know. It's who you know and how much money you have. It's who you know and what you think you are. It's people's perceptions. If you're kind to people, if you follow the rules, if you wish them well, if you open the door for a lady, if you get up when a senior person comes, that all sells well. As a doctor, when I was a junior doctor, if the senior walked in, I would stand up. And the local guys wouldn't. They noticed, why are you standing? I said, you're my senior, out of respect. So you can stand out as a shining example of a good ambassador from South Asia. And that is my attempt in my talking to you. The purpose is that you feel proud of your culture, but you imbibe from this culture, that you learn from this culture. After all, this culture has been around and this country has ruled the world. The sun never set on the British Empire. Things are not quite the same, but the qualities, the aspirations, the democratic values, the human respect is very high here. And the family values and the respect for the tribe and the respect for faith, etc. are very strong there. You can combine the both. Can you imagine how powerful that becomes? I am actually a political candidate. From being a doctor to being on the radio to being a political candidate is quite a change. And that is why I want to share that if you have the confidence to become yourself, to self-actualize, to find what in India is called dharma, means your passion, what you're made for. Some people are very good at communication. Some people are very good at research. Some people are very good at flying planes. Some people are very good. And then whatever the profession you take feeds your inner soul. You feel good inside. But the one thing is common to all of these. If you're serving other people, you forget yourself. If you're looking after other people, you forget your own needs. And your needs will be fulfilled. It is not that if I'm looking after my neighbors, I'll go hungry. I started a music organization, but I also paid to receive a lesson. So I set it up. It was good for everyone, including myself. It isn't I'm doing charity for others and I'm left out. It doesn't work like that. So if you are good as a person who doesn't take shortcuts, who understands the rules, who takes advice from decent people who know the job, not from other shortcutters, because that's what we do. If I'm wanting to kind of cheat from the system, I'll talk to other people who have cheated the system. But then you're in that small loop. But if I talk to a senior member, if I talk to a next door neighbor who happens to be a policeman, if I happen to talk to a lawyer, the first consultation is free and after that pay. But long term, you'll stay within what is called the straight and narrow. So imagine there's a railway line. In the West that I live in, there are lots of railway lines. It isn't open territory. You can do what you like, when you like, as you like. Yes, things are difficult. But the one thing is sure, if you've done something legal, you'll never be out of pocket. And the one thing is sure, if you've done something illegal, one day the long arm of the law will catch you and spoil it for you. So don't take shortcuts and adjust to the society here. Live among the people here and you'll be totally happy. I promise you, I'm talking not as a motivational speaker. I'm talking to you as a very successful, happy doctor, as a happy radio broadcaster, as a happy politician, as a happy person who works in the community. And I again and again implore you to join me in this quest for unleashing your inner power with Dr. Anand. Thank you. See you in the next episode.